last year, for TGR3, we started this project called the Activation Hubs, calling upon you, wherever you are, to create a container to come and watch the Greater Reset, but not necessarily be limited to that. Bring in the local specialists in your community, anyone who has skills and knowledge to share, and create an event with them. Get to know your fellow producers in your area, trade, connect. And so part of that has been having watch parties, and I'm really excited to be bringing on a previous TGR watch party and now forming their own intentional community. They flew all the way over here from Sweden and then drove down to get here to Morelia. Could I bring up on stage Marcella and Milan from Mycelium Hub? Come on up. Give them a big round.
Okay, so, oh my God. Hi, everybody. Yeah, super nervous to be here, but thanks, Ramiro, for believing in us, in our, oh, here, to the light. Thank you for, for coming here, for allowing us to come here once again this year on the Tech Day of the Activation Hub. Tech is part of our lives. I know that our approach is a bit special, but nevertheless, we have our voice. This is a safe place to talk, so here we are. We are the Mycelium Hub. We are located in West Central Sweden in a beautiful and magnetic forest. We are very happy to come here all the way from Mexico and to meet you all in person and to share what we have been already co-creating. As an activation hub, we were very active in our local region. We grew our network, and we feel that we created more opportunities for us to live a more and more sovereign lifestyle. Also, we hosted a lot of visitors from around the world, and slowly but surely, like the mushrooms, our community started growing, and today some of those first spores are there here with us in Morelia. They came from many places. So thank you very much for making the decision to come, for being part of our mycelium and our pop-up mycelium in Acapulco for the next month, and also for joining us here in Morelia. It was a ride. For our talk today, we want to give continuation from where we left last year, and hoping in this brief time we convene our ideas and inspire you all. I will let Milan to guide you through our vision and our work. And if you have questions, please contact us to info@myceliumhub.org. Thank you very much. Gracias.
Thanks for the wonderful introduction, Marcia, and for keeping the conversation with Ramiro going and bringing us to this moment. So super grateful. Thank you. Last year, we introduced our Activation Hub with its focus on technology, our use of a low EMF network, and our intention to set up a software stack of free and open source software to run our project and make it available to others. Now, I want to share where our journey has taken us and what that means for us going forward. I'll introduce the impact of operations on our development efforts and the discovery of an underlying theme that we now need to address, without which we won't be able to use any technology that we introduce properly. I'll talk about how this led to a focus on personal growth in the form of personal organization as the foundation for group organization and beyond. I'll talk a little bit about how we will use this insight to also create value and build our global network to support our operations, bring in funding, and power our development efforts moving forward. Let's begin with operations. That's the nuts and bolts that every community needs to address, right? Okay, is this better? Great. So operations, the operations of our property in Sweden. We got a few pics there for the background. You'll see it come up in a minute. That includes running the household, doing the maintenance in summer and winter. It gets up to minus 20 degrees, so a few things break and need to be fixed. We've had a few frozen pipes and things like that. There's also administration. There's maintaining threads of conversation with various incoming people and the paperwork and bureaucracy involved in running our business. That's part of Mycelium Hub. Yeah, there it is. So you've got a few pictures and you'll get an impression of the property there. Thank you. So this operation stuff really consumed our time and energy, and it left little focus for such development efforts like documenting, configuring, deploying, implementing, supporting, migrating, and upgrading the software stack, and then more documentation still. And let's talk about the software stack gap, because we discovered something. We had that focus in early 2022 to create a software stack to run our project and to share with others. And while we made lots of progress with the software stack and documenting our organizational patterns, these things are not our main focus now. As we progressed, we encountered some challenges and adapted our strategy. We learned about some foundations that need to be in place before we can make effective use of technology as individuals, as groups, and as a network. To be clear, even while we were working on the software stack, we had conventional closed source software that is very easy to use that we were using to document and manage our project. But people joined on site and they didn't make use of these existing tools. Why is that? So in answering that question, it led us to the rejection of and the need for structure. So when inviting new on-site contributors to join us on the project again and again, we would all feel that we're aligned and it's going to be great. But over time, there was an underlying lack of coherence around the idea of organization. So that was the case even when we shared the agreements of the house in advance and people nodded them off. Yeah, sounds great. We'll do that, right? We're going to do this moving forward. But then people would show up to the project without a clear idea of which roles they would fill and often struggled to see the point of basic organizational habits like check-ins for coordination, right? So no software tool would really solve that. What to do? So that led us to the importance of personal organization and group organization and to look at how they relate to each other, right? And at this point, let me just define personal organization. So personal organization is part of a reflection and personal growth process. It's thinking about what's important to me as an individual, getting clear on the areas of life that I care about, that I have goals and visions for, and that I want to be spending time on, right? And personal organization is the structure that results from that reflection and personal growth process. Personal organization is how I track and evolve that. So before we get into organization and technology as a group, we need to have clear processes in person and online to help ourselves and others create definition of our personal organization, our life structure, if you will, right? When we define ourselves in clear terms, we can then easily share and overlay with others. We can see as a group, here's where we have gaps. Here's where we have areas in common. Here's where we can create agreements. We need that definition first. From there, we can create agreements, which we discuss point by point and return to when there is a tension or a disconnect. This is not a simple thing. It's a matter of carefully discussing and reviewing them. And we want to create tools and workshops and templates around this. Collections of agreements for different types of situations, right? You'll need different agreements for online collaboration, for discussing politically explosive topics, or for solving the operations issues in a community. So, in summary, we're looking for ways to create definition, to assess alignment, and create agreement. Then we can move on to organizational concepts like roles and responsibilities. And technology follows on from there. Only when those things are in place can technology really support us. So this is where the evolutionary purpose of Mycelium Hub that we've distilled this year fits in. To break down and define the main aspects of sovereign living and structure them into functional patterns at the personal, group, and network level. As far as technology goes, the development is driven by this work, meaning that we use tools that work now to help us define personal and group organization structures, and then move into better, meaning open source, decentralized tools from there. So for us in the medium term, other advantages over Notion, as soon as any type fulfills our requirements. Thank you. So what are we doing with this work? Where are we going? We're going to focus on applying this to building the network, our mycelium, right? So we want to use personal and group organization processes to optimize our existing global network, to create opportunities and new ventures. We need this to create the income streams that will fund operations. And as we know, we can't progress without that. Toward this, we're setting up a directory of resources for members, organizing pop-up Mycelium hubs, such as the one we already have currently in Acapulco until the end of February. If you're curious and you happen to be in Acapulco, we'll be there focusing on personal growth and personal organization and creating opportunities and functional patterns together. At the Mycelium Hub Acapulco, we'll also be working on an ongoing survey to find out who the sovereign individuals and exit and build people are. That's you guys. So what do you aspire to? What are your obstacles toward that? And what would you find helpful? Learning more about our community will help us focus on where we can add value moving forward. So thanks for taking the time to listen to our Activation Hub progress report. I hope it's become clearer to you what some of the obstacles are to making use of technology on a personal and a group level. And I trust I've conveyed the importance of creating functional patterns to have thriving and lasting projects and communities. If you'd like to work with us directly on applying this thinking to create solutions and add value, please reach out by email, info@myceliumhub.org. We can host whole teams on site in the Swedish forest as well. Ramiro, we hope to have you there this year. So look up our pop-up hub in Acapulco as well, or talk to us here in person. And you can find us on the Freedom Cells website under Värmland, Sweden. Thank you all very much.
Give it up for Mycelium Husset from Sweden. All right. Need the next segment?
Ramiro's doing such a great job hosting. Doesn't he look nice? He's been preparing to share some awesome information with you guys all day. So he's going to go get ready to do that. Thank you for that, brother. And yeah, give it up one more time, coming all the way from Sweden. Like, this is a real worldwide movement. When we say that, we're not lying. I mentioned yesterday, and maybe Ramiro can give us an update during his talk. Last time we checked, there was 22 countries who've tuned into this event from around the world. And I know if we do a count of the people who are coming from all over here, I've heard Denmark, Germany, Belgium, Canada, the US, Mexico. What else we got here? Anybody else? UK? Holland? Costa Rica, Australia, Brazil, Austria. Yes, awesome. That's great. Okay, guys. Well, that's what I hope all of you who are at home can really see, that we are trying to connect with you. It's not just about coming to Mexico, coming to Texas. As the Mycelium Hub did, they started hosting events, streaming this, and kind of taking inspiration and then building from there. That's what you can do, right? So let's come together. Tomorrow, though, things wrap up, and we don't want it to be like, oh, there goes the activation, there goes the excitement. We want you to go home and implement these ideas, and then come back next year